Right, on to the engine shock absorber. So this is the engine shock absorber, and under here are some rubbers, and their job is to take up, to stop any shock from the engine going straight to the transmission. So there's just some rubbers that just give that little bit of play. So if there weren't those rubbers in there, then when you snapped open the throttle, you could literally snap something. Okay, so it's just to stop that shock, and just about every motorcycle, as far as I know, has some form of engine shock absorber. Old British ones have like a big spring on the crankshaft. A lot have a shock absorber like this, and a lot have a shock absorber actually in the back wheel. So that's where the rubbers are. Okay, but that's the function, the engine shock absorber. So there's various bits of wear. First of all, we're going to take this thrust bearing off, as it's called, and under here, and there's a bearing face under there. Now that can wear. Mine, I think, is okay. It's beginning to show some signs of wear, but it's not too bad. Now the shock absorber unit generally isn't available, but you can get the centre replaced. You can send it away, you send yours back, and they'll put a new one in for you. So if that bearing face is worn very badly, then you can get it replaced. And the reason for that is there's these rivets. These are rivets, and so the next thing to do is to check that these rivets are still tight, because they can come loose. And again, if they are, you send the whole thing away, and they'll put new rivets in for you. Mine rivets are fine, and the bearing face is acceptable. Right, so the next thing is then to take the remove the tab washers and undo these bolts so we can see the rubbers underneath. Okay, so now we've removed the 6 bolts, and we have to get rid of this plate, and we can do so because the centre of the spider is separate to the chain wheel inside. We'll see that in a minute. So if we turn this over, and let's have a little bit of space there, yeah, just on the edge, and then we tap on the centre spider. There we go, and that opens up, and so we can see. So you can see the spider inside is separate to the chain wheel, and it's these rubbers that are between them that absorb the shocks, which is why it's called a shock absorber. So what the next job is to check the rubbers on the inside the shock absorber. Now mine, I'm pleased to say, look very good, because a few years ago they disintegrated on mine completely, and so what I did was I actually welded extra metal onto the tips of the vanes on the spider, because apparently what can happen is under massive pressure, although it doesn't look like it, the rubbers can distort and actually squeeze underneath the vanes, and so slowly break up. And once these rubbers start breaking up, then they can break up very quickly. So you're looking for any damage, any bits knocked off, because if there's any like that, they need replacing, these rubbers. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry on knocking the spider out. I don't know if this will work. I'll try it, but normally you have to take out a couple of the rubbers. Oh no, there we go. There we go. Right, so it's coming out, and before I take it out, notice the orientation of the rubbers. They're weird sort of triangular things. So the nose of the rubber goes against the vane on the chain wheel, and the long back of the rubber goes against the vane on the spider. Okay, we go, out we come. So we've got the chain wheel, I think these are still available, and then the spider. As I say, you can send this off and get a new centre, but I don't think the outer spider is still available. So if yours is damaged, which it shouldn't be, then you need to find a second-hand one or something like that. Okay, as I say, check the rivets, mine look fine. Check that bearing surface, mine looks okay. And then mine are discoloured, my sort of legs, the veins are discoloured because I welded extra tips onto mine and then ground it down. And that seems to have worked because I've not had any trouble with the rubber since then. One item of note is that the legs of the spider are sort of sided, so they seem to have a different shoulder on, and they are not necessarily sort of vertical. They do sort of lean one way, but that seems to be fairly standard. Anyway, it works, so that's fine. You check the rubbers, mine are okay. There's no big lumps or anything taken out of them, so they're fine to put back in. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, so we're going to start putting the rubbers in. Now the problem with putting the rubbers in, let's have a look, nose to the chain wheel. Now of course I can put in the rubbers this way, no problem, but then when I need to get the rubbers in there, of course they're tight. Now to be honest, what I tend to do is I seem to be able to get away with just sort of kind of levering mine in, put the back in against the back spider, and then hopefully I can get the nose in. But I sometimes need a bit of help from a screwdriver. The only problem with doing it this way is it is easy to damage the rubbers. Yeah, it's deliberately gone that way because of course I'm putting it in. I've got it the right way around but facing the wrong way. That's better. And which is why it was trying to tell me it didn't want to go in, because I was putting it in the wrong way around. No, it won't go in at all. There we go. I mean, this rubber's fighting back. One of the first ones. There we go. Right, so I'm going to go around and do all that, trying to make sure I get them in the right way round. And but I seem to manage okay with a screwdriver. What you need is something that you can hold the two parts separately and turn them so you can open the gap a bit and get the rubber in. I haven't got one. I somehow manage okay with my fingers and a screwdriver, but you do have to be careful not to damage the rubbers. Right, so that's all the rubbers back in. Really not that bad. In fact, that one that I did on camera, needless to say, was of course by far the hardest one to get in. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to put this plate back on. Crikey, that was good. I was just in it virtually exactly the right place, and then screw it down and torque it down. I've got these wonderful new bolts. These are proper hardened steel bolts from Jeff Mitchell, who's been a great help throughout. And also he advised me that to torque them down to somewhere around 35 pounds inch inch-pounds of torque. There's no torque setting actually in the manual, but this is what's sort of generally advised. You don't want them too tight. You can again snap the heads off, or when I took my old bolts out, a couple of the actual bolts were stretched, and I think maybe I'd over torqued them in the past. I don't know, but they're going to be torqued down to around 35 inch-pounds. Okay, it's all back together. So we're now going to tighten these high tensile steel bolts up to about 35 inch-pounds, which is about 4 Nm. Is that newtons per meter, is it? I don't know. I don't use such non-imperial metric measurements. Right, okay. So they are tightened up, and so there we go. I've got my torque wrench on, and there we are, clicking away, which is great. But I've also got this tool because my torque wrench is a bit unreliable at such low torque settings as that. So you can buy these tools, which are, again, Jeff Mitchell put me onto, and you buy them and they're preset, and this one is preset at, they're designed for NM. And so that's the only, you can't adjust them, but I'll put it on that, there, it's just clicking out, and that, so they're all set, there we go, at 4 Nm. That's great. So they're all tightened down. I'm just going to close up the tab washers. Okay, all done. Check the thrust bearing. Mine's absolutely fine. That goes on the outer face, and then not forgetting the thrust washer, which sits on the inside there, and then this slides onto the gearbox sprocket just behind, in front of the clutch. Okay. Only thing I think other thing worth noting is this is, I think, what's called a long nose spider. So this just goes straight in and sits on the back of the clutch, on the front of the clutch. I think very early models they had a short nose spider, and then there was actually a separate spacer that went in front of that. Okay, just about ready to put the primary chain back on the bike.